What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is gonna be your review for Black Ink Crew season 6, episode 2. So we picked this episode. We pick up with Charmaine and Neek, and what we find out is that Charmaine and Neek then went on off to the Justice of the Peace and got married. Now let me say this to y'all. Now I've been looking at enough reality TV that I be having some reservations about certain things. Now Charmaine said that because the engagement was so public that they wanted to do, have a private ceremony. They just went to the Justice of the Peace. She said, we didn't even take any pictures. See, that's a red flag for me. It's a red flag for me. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. I'm not saying that it's unreasonable to think that it went down that way. I'm just saying whenever we have a reality show and people get married and there's no evidence of the marriage, I get a little leery. That's all I'm saying. Now, they could very well be married and went to the Justice of the Peace and all that good stuff. But I think that because some other things were going on, and I might as well just go on and say it. We know that Charmaine's pregnant. It's been all over the blogs. So we know that congratulations, by the way. And we know that Meek's family is very traditional. I am just a little leery of whether they actually got married or not before she found out she was pregnant, or they're saying it because of Meek's home situation. And then we know, sending prayers and comfort to Charmaine and her family. But then we also know about what happened with Charmaine's mom. So I'm just a little curious about it, but neither here nor there. Congratulations to you all. But yes, so that's what's going on with them. Now down to the shop. Ryan is we're seeing. I think Ryan is agreeing to open up certain things to us this season. We've always seen that Ryan is a hard dude. He doesn't let people in. He's very closed off. He can go into asshole mode real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like he go from 0 to 60. 1 minute he's laughing and joking, and then he always has this "I don't care" attitude. Like no matter what happens, it's well I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. Even when you think he really does care, because I think the more somebody tells you what they don't care about, I think the more it does bother them. But we see where Ryan's family has been trying to get in touch with him, and he's not taking their calls. And you know, the guys, Ford and Don, are trying to talk to him. Like, look, you need to talk to your family. What's going on? And Ryan is like, look, they've been calling me. I just been on my grind. I've been real busy. I'll talk to them later. So if you've ever seen any older episodes, you know Ryan mama don't play that. So Ryan mother and his sister dropped by the shop, and she was like, we need to talk to you. And she was like, and everybody else don't need to know what's going on. We need to go to a back room. Ryan was like, we gotta go now. She was like, yeah, we gotta go now. And so what we found out was, and if you don't know the story of Ryan's sister, um, and it was actually they actually did an episode on Fatal Attraction on BET. The BET has a show called Fatal Attraction. It's not Fatal Attraction. It's something like that, but it's one of those shows like on the ID channel or whatever. And they did actually did her story, but his sister was actually murdered. His sister and the 9-month-old baby were actually murdered. And what made her story so sensational? I mean, other than the fact, her story is her story, but what made it so sensational about the story was the fact that his sister was actually dating a basketball player at the time, like an on again, off again with a professional basketball player, and she took him to court for child support. Her lawyer, who represented her in the case, she actually started dating him at a certain point. But then he started getting real obsessive, and things started going bad. And this is the way it was. Now, look, y'all, don't drop down in them comments and give me a whole bunch of different versions of this story. I'm telling you what the show reported, not Black Ink Crew, but the Fatal Attraction show that I was looking at. They said that they believe, okay, because she broke up with the lawyer, and they believe that he was worried about her going to the bar, or because it was something with money. She found out he was stealing her money or something like that, and she was going to report him to the bar. So on top of the fact that they were never supposed to be in any type of relationship, that's a code of ethics violation. But then the money situation, and so as a result, between that and then the relationship and some other ins and outs, he ended up murdering her. And the daughter was there. She has a son and a daughter. The daughter was with her at the time, and the daughter was killed. And I can't remember where the son was. Again, I'm sure some of y'all are gonna tell me. Somebody gonna drop down in the chat and let me know. But with that being said, we know that about Ryan's story. He's been open to a point about his story, but what we he really gave us a little more this episode. And so that's why I say I feel like he's ready to kind of open up a little bit. But his mom was like, look, what's going on? You don't come around the family, nobody talks to you, what's good? And Ryan's thing is, I know I can't fill my sister's shoes, but I thought that I was holding the family down. But then I realized that basically I just put my head down and threw everything into the tattooing and threw everything into trying to make her proud of me. And I sort of let family fall by the wayside. I also think Ryan is also going back to last episode, dealing with the whole stuff with him and Rachel and him, living out the shop and all that stuff that he has going on a personal level. I think things are just coming to a head with Ryan because I think the shop is doing so well and his business is doing so well that he does have time to sort of look up and take a breath, and he's realizing, damn, it's still here. I thought I was, pushing all this to the side, but now it's still here and I have to deal with it. And so we'll see later on in the episode how he deals with it. Now over to Second City Inc. I told you that what was her name? Y'all know I wrote these people's name down. Hold on. Because I know I ain't gonna remember nobody's name. Drea and Guy, whatever, they've been flirt, and so we see them flirting, and he said he had like back to back tattoos to do. He was on a couple tattoos, and they got to flirting or whatever, and she was like, you should let me help you with that tattoo, and then you don't have to be here all night, because he was saying how late he was gonna have to work, and he was like, so she was like, well, if I help you out with this tattoo, what you gonna get me? And so they end up talking about going out on a date. Now low key, when they did both the tattoos and they put their work against each other, low key, I like his work better than hers. However, her work wasn't horrible. Like, I wouldn't have been mad if that was my tattoo. I would have been mad if I saw his tattoo and then looked at my tattoo. You feel what I'm saying? But they it was cute tattoos, but they got. And we see them later on in the episode flirting. They went out for ice cream and they sort of started telling each other their story and opening up to each other and everything. And they make a cute couple, but y'all know that's gonna be a problem, right? You know that you do not poop where you lay. That's gonna be an issue before this season is over. I don't know when, where, what, or how, but it is. Anyway, um, so I kind of already see I watched both episodes back to back, so one sort of blended into the other. I already told y'all that Ashley came back, her test results came back, and she does not have cancer. So I'm happy to report that came back with no problem. What else went down? I want to make sure I'm getting it all in because I don't want to miss part of the story. Because I think I overlapped, even though I didn't mean to overlap, but I did overlap. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna get back to Ryan and what he's going through because that scene with him and his mom, I kind of went away and had to come back, had to go back and check. Um, it got really emotional. Ryan actually broke down crying, and he was just talking about how he was really trying to, stay strong for the family, but how he really has not dealt with his sister's death probably the way he should have. So we'll get to that in a minute. So the guys took him out. The fellas, Four and Don took him out. They went to go rock climb. They all into the bodybuilding and going to the gym. So for them, that's a good time. You know what I mean? And while they were there, they were kind of talking to him, and Ryan told them about sleeping in the shop, and Ford was like, "Look, I'm not gonna sit here and say that Ryan is depressed, but what I do know, I've dealt with depression, and I know that there's certain signs that aren't good." And Don was saying, "Look, man, maybe you need to go talk to somebody." Maybe you need to go talk to somebody because you got a lot that you're dealing with and a lot that's going on. And maybe it's time for you to, go sit down. And, Ryan's thing was, I'm not opposed to, um, I'm not opposed to going and talking to a therapist. I just never really felt like I needed to. I always felt like if you just had your friends around you and you had good people around you, that you could make, that you could get through anything. And they flash back to Vegas when Ford was having his breakdown, and when Ryan was like, you got us, that's all you need. And Ryan was like, so I don't have an issue with therapy. I just never thought that talking to a perfect stranger would help me when I have friends who understand me, who know what I've gone through, that I could talk to. And so, but he said he would think about it, about going. But I definitely appreciate, they've been friends since high school. Van, I hate not seeing Van, because I did actually like Van, even though Van sometimes was real extra. But I did like seeing Van. But Van never had that bond with them. The three of them have no, well, Ford and Ryan have been friends since high school, and I think because Ford and Don were brothers, but they have a bond that's just different. And so I'm glad to see that they reached out to Ryan, and that they let Ryan know, look, we are here and we got you. So now Meek and Charmaine. Now Meek and Charmaine called the parents. Both of the mothers are in town. And it's so weird seeing Charmaine's mom on screen. And I know this was probably a hard episode for her to watch, but um they're upset. They are pissed off, and they are upset that the two of them went off and got married without having a proper wedding. And both of them feel the same way. Meek's mom is deep into the church, and she was like, basically her thing was, it don't count if God didn't say yes. Like, you can go to the justice of the peace and do it legally, but God didn't sign off on this, and until God signs off on this, we got an issue. And then Charmaine's mom is like, Charmaine's the only child. And she was like, I missed out on seeing my daughter walk down the aisle. And so they were both very upset about it, and basically telling them, look, y'all need to make this right. And so they ended up giving the mothers a card saying congratulations, and it had the stick in it. Now, let me say this. When my niece and nephew, well, my nephew and his wife, we were my niece by marriage, when they told the grandmothers, we were all at her, she was graduating from grad school, and we had a cookout afterwards, and at the cookout they gave my mom and her mom cards, and inside the cards it was the same thing. They gave them a congratulations card, and inside the card it said, it was a picture of the sonogram. I would much rather them done that than give me that pissy ass pregnancy stick. I'm just saying. In my mind, I was just thinking, Charmaine peeping on this. That's You can just give me a picture of the sonogram. You can give me some booties, some blue or pink booties, or yellow if you're not sure to say. But don't give me your pissy ass pregnancy stick that I gotta touch. I don't care how many times you washed it off. In my mind, I'm thinking, and they were at dinner too. In my mind, I'm thinking, yo, Pete touched this. Moving on. So now, Charmaine's mom is ecstatic. I mean, she is ecstatic. She's gonna be a grandmother. Meek's mom was like, "Nope, hell no," because as far as I'm concerned, y'all ain't married yet. So no, I'm not happy that you married. I mean, that you pregnant. Because in my mind, y'all ain't even married yet. Because again, I done told you. She said, if God ain't signed off on it, honey, it don't count. So I don't know what they're gonna do about Meek Mama. I guess they're gonna have to have some sort of small intimate, but Meek act like he could care less. I mean, I know he loves his mom, and he was not disrespectful to her, but basically he was like, "Look, we married, she pregnant. It is what it is." Um, I don't think Meek is interested in having any type of big wedding. I don't think that's what they want, and I'm okay with that. I mean, look, honey, I understand. So we see Ryan going to talk to a doctor, and what we find out might explain why Ryan hasn't fully processed his sister's death. He sort of blames himself for it. Um, what we find out is that the night before, that Ryan was out there in the streets wilding, right? He was out there, he was doing whatever. He had talked to his sister about giving him the money to get a tattoo kit because he was ready to get off the streets. He was ready to try to do some with his life. That was when his son was born, and he was like, I got to get my life together. I can't be this guy. Like, I got to get my life together. Sister agreed to give him the money. Ryan was supposed to meet his sister the next morning to pick the money up, and they were going to go buy his supplies and, get all his stuff together. Ryan said, I went out that night, got drunk, probably got a little high, whatever, and ended up sleeping in. And I didn't make it to her apartment. And he said, before I could really get myself together to go over there, my father called me to tell me she was dead. And so, in his mind, if I had done what I was supposed to do, I would have been there that day. And maybe I would have been there. And he doesn't say maybe, but he says I would have been able to stop it. When she needed me, I wasn't there for her. When she reached out to me, I wasn't there for her. He said, and then after the crime scene, we had to go clean up the blood. And he said you could see the trail of blood from where she first got shot to where she ran to where the baby fell to where she kept running to where she finally was shot and was killed, fatally killed. And he said all I could think about is that my sister was running for help and I wasn't there. And I was supposed to be there. And so, one that understands why you're holding on to so much guilt, and two, not understands that explains, and two, that explains why you were grinding so hard because she really believed in you and you were really trying to do better for her. So, what I hope that Brian is able to do through therapy is that he's able to process. And I hope that you walk away understanding that at the end of the day, and I know this sounds cliche, and I know that when you're the one that's holding on to that guilt, it doesn't feel good. But at the end of the day, you didn't you wouldn't have been able to stop nothing. If that's the way things were supposed to go, and that's the way things were supposed to go. What might have happened is that it might have been a triple homicide that day instead of a double homicide. You know what I mean? Maybe you would have stopped it that day, but then he would have came right back because the reason why he wanted to kill your sister didn't change just because you were there. He might have put the gun back in the car, played nice, smiled and everything, and then he came back later on that day. So you can't hold on to that because we don't know what if, what if, what if, what if. But I know that's easier said than done, and that's way easy for somebody on the outside to tell him on the inside. But I like the fact that he is talking to somebody. I hope that he trusts this woman enough to open up and really share so that they can process it and really unpack it and really um, work things through. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments.